My name is Verity, and when I was 22 years old, I left everything behind and moved to New York City with one dream, to become an actress. I arrived with a small suitcase, a few dollars, and a heart full of hope. I rented a tiny one-room apartment, barely big enough for a bed and a stove. Every day, I worked small jobs, serving coffee, cleaning tables, handing out flyers on the street, just to pay rent and buy cheap food. I had no family in the city. No close friends. No safety net. Just my dream, and the heavy loneliness that came with it. I went to audition after audition, repeating the same lines, trying to smile even when my voice shook. But the answer was always the same, no. Sometimes they said I was too young. Sometimes they said I wasn't ready. After each rejection, a piece of my confidence faded. One afternoon, my manager called. His voice sounded different. He said a very rich man was looking for a young actress, not for a movie, but for a private role. I didn't understand. I was scared. But I was also out of money, out of options, and desperate. I didn't know that one choice would pull me into a world where love and money were never what they seemed. Life in New York was nothing like the dream I imagined. Most days, I woke up early, ate a cup of instant noodles, and walked miles to my jobs because I couldn't afford the subway every day. I worked wherever people would hire me, morning shifts at a cafe, afternoon cleaning offices, evening handing out flyers in the cold. I was always tired, always counting coins, always afraid I wouldn't make next month's rent. But every night, before going to sleep, I stood in front of the small cracked mirror in my apartment and practiced acting lines. I imagined myself on a real stage, under real lights, with people calling my name. It was the only moment each day that made me feel alive. And on the hardest nights, I whispered to myself, maybe tomorrow will be better. Then came the offer that changed my life. I arrived at the mansion of William, a 68-year-old billionaire. I expected a strange audition, maybe a private film project. Instead, he looked at me calmly and said he wasn't searching for an actress, he was searching for a wife. A contract wife. He offered me $10,000 every month if I agreed to marry him for 1 year. In that moment, my hunger, my debts, my loneliness, all collided with fear and temptation. I didn't know it yet, but that decision would lead me into a world filled with secrets, lies, and a love I never expected. When I finally said yes to William's offer, I told myself it was only for 1 year. 1 year of comfort, 1 year of safety, 1 year where I wouldn't have to count every penny. I thought I could handle it. I thought I could separate my heart from the contract. But the moment I moved into William's mansion, I realized how cold luxury could feel. I had diamonds, dresses, rooms bigger than my old apartment, but no husband in sight. William gave me gifts, but not affection. He treated me politely, like someone he needed, but not someone he wanted. He never kissed me, never held my hand, never even let me enter his office. At night, his bedroom door stayed closed, as if there was an invisible wall between us. I tried to tell myself it didn't matter, this was a job. But every day, I felt more like a ghost wearing expensive clothes. Everything changed the night of the big party. A woman approached me with a sharp smile and angry eyes. "Hello, Verity," she said. "I'm Jennifer, William's ex-wife." My stomach dropped. Then she leaned close and whispered, "He married you so he can claim his family fortune. If he stays married for 1 year, he gets everything. If not, it goes to his son." My heart shattered. I wasn't a wife. I was a legal requirement. Later, I met Pete, William's son. He stared at me with hatred the moment he saw me. "You're a gold digger," he said. "You just want his money." I wanted to scream that he was wrong, that I only wanted survival, but Pete didn't care. To him, I was the enemy ruining his family. Yet one afternoon, he said something strange. "My father is hiding something about your past. Something big." The fear inside me grew. One night when William was away, I broke his most important rule. I opened his office. Inside a drawer, I found a small box and a faded photograph. A young woman holding a baby. My mother. And next to her, William. My hands shook. When I confronted him, William finally told the truth. He had known my mother. She was his friend. Before she died, she made him promise to take care of me. He married me to fulfill that promise, but somewhere along the way, he had fallen in love with me. I didn't know what hurt more, the lies he told, or the truth he hid. Meanwhile, Pete continued poisoning everything, wanting me gone so he could take his father's inheritance. I suddenly realized I was trapped between two men. One who used me out of duty. One who used me out of greed. And somewhere in the middle, I had lost myself. For days, my mind felt like a storm I couldn't escape. Every truth, every lie, every memory I thought I understood, suddenly felt twisted and unclear. I couldn't look at William without feeling the weight of everything he hid from me. I couldn't look at myself without feeling bought. Was I a wife, or was I a price tag? My chest tightened whenever I remembered Jennifer's voice. "He married you for the money." Then Pete's whispers echoed inside me. "My father will hurt you. Leave him while you can." Pete's anger felt real. His warnings felt real. But then again, so did the pain in William's eyes when he confessed. "I never planned to love you. But I do." Love. That word made everything harder. I didn't know what to believe anymore. One man said he cared. The other said he was dangerous. Both used me in their own ways. And here I was, still that lonely girl with a small suitcase, still searching for a place where I truly belonged. That night, I sat alone in the dark hallway, holding the marriage contract in my shaking hands. The paper felt heavy, heavier than all the jewelry William had ever given me. It was the symbol of everything false in our marriage. Every fear. Every doubt. Every lie. I whispered to myself. What am I to him? A promise? A responsibility? A mistake? The loneliness I carried since childhood rose up and crushed me. If I stayed, people would call me a gold digger. If I left, I would walk away from the only man who ever tried to protect me, even if he did it the wrong way. My tears hit the paper. That was the moment I realized something important. I didn't want money. I didn't want comfort. I wanted the truth. And I wanted love, real love, if it even existed for someone like me. The next morning, I walked into William's study. He was standing near the window, as if he had been waiting for me. Without speaking, I placed the contract into the fireplace. The flames rose quickly, reflecting in his shocked eyes. "If I stay," I said, my voice breaking, "it will never be for money. Only for love." William didn't hesitate. He took his own copy of the contract and tore it into tiny pieces, letting them fall like ashes. For the first time, there were no lies between us. Just two people, broken, scared, unsure, choosing each other without a price. Standing in front of William that day, after burning the contract, I felt something inside me finally settle. For the first time since I came to New York, I chose something not out of fear, not out of hunger, not out of desperation, but out of my own heart. I chose to stay. Not because of the mansion. Not because of the money. But because despite everything, I saw a man who wanted to start again, honestly. And he did. William changed in ways I never imagined. He no longer hid behind closed doors. He let me into his thoughts, his regrets, his hopes. He treated me not like a responsibility, not like a contract, but like a partner, equal and real. Keith stayed angry for a while. He wanted the fortune, and without the contract, he knew he had lost the battle. Eventually, he left the house for good. And strangely, I felt relieved. For the first time, the house felt calm. Then something beautiful happened. I got a call for a small movie role, my first real opportunity. It wasn't a big part, but it was mine. Not bought. Not arranged. Earned. When I told William, he smiled, not the polite smile I saw when we first met, but a proud, gentle one. "I always knew you had a future bigger than this house," he said. Life didn't suddenly become perfect. I still had fears. I still had doubts. But now, everything in my life came from truth, not from contracts, not from promises made to someone else, not from money. For the first time, I felt free. And love, real love, can only exist in freedom. Now, looking back at everything, the loneliness, the hunger, the contract, the mansion, the lies, the truths, and the love, I finally understand something I never understood before. Money can buy a house, but it can never create a home. Money can fill your closet, but never your heart. Money can surround you with luxury, yet leave you more alone than ever. I once believed that survival meant taking any opportunity, even if it didn't feel right. But true love, true connection, begins where fear and conditions end. When no one is buying anyone. When no one is using anyone. When two people choose each other freely, with nothing to gain except a beating heart. Sometimes life tests you with money first, so you can learn what love truly means after. Sometimes the world offers you comfort on the outside so you can discover what warmth really feels like on the inside. My dream was to become an actress, to stand under bright lights and hear people say my name. But along the way, life taught me a deeper lesson, the difference between being chosen and being bought. Today, I am no longer the girl who said yes because she was desperate. I am the woman who chooses love because she is finally free. And I can say this with all my heart. I chose love over money, and for the first time in my life, I felt truly rich. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for learning English through stories with us. I hope to see you again in the next video.